All right. So there's a lot for us to unpack today. I think there was a lot of bittersweet moments, some great moments, some interesting things that happened with the squad selection, some interesting performances from some new players. A lot of things happened in this game, and I think there's a lot to break down. So let's get into it. Barcelona faced Betis, and we just won 5-3. I know it was 5-3, and at the end of the first half, honestly, the game was done. That was probably one of the best first half performances all round that I've seen Barcelona play this season. We basically killed off the game by like the third goal. Yeah, Ferran scored the third goal in the 40th minute, and basically the game was done by then. Yeah, and I think that was a very mature performance, especially in the first half. I thought we controlled and dominated the entire game. It never looked like we were out of control except for that early goal. And that's very typical of Barcelona. They start off with a low defensive intensity and then it picks up as the game goes on. I don't know why we still do that. Oftentimes it did. And the first two goals that came about were like quick fire, like one after the other. Ferran Torres, two beautiful finishes, and he got a hat trick today as well. I thought he played really well, but let this not fool you. And I'll get more into that. Also, I think Hansi Flick nailed the starting lineup with this team. He gave Rafinha much needed rest. He rotated some players. He tried Lamine Yamal in the 10 position finally. And Rooney Bardghji announced himself tonight. Rooney Bardghji announced himself to the world, announced himself to Hansi Flick, announced himself to the rest of the Barcelona team that he is here and he is a valuable piece that can contribute, that can be subbed on in games, that can be even played in crucial games. He's had to wait for his turn. He has had opportunities, but he hasn't really capitalized on it. But I think today he really showed what he's capable of. I thought he had a fantastic performance. Rooney Bardghji definitely is suited as a more as a right wing player. I don't know if he can play centrally. Really good at taking on opponents. He's really good at dribbling. That cross he put into Ferran Torres was fantastic. Like it was spot on, inch perfect cross. It was surprising that he scored with his weaker foot. I thought he would cut inside and like put it around the keeper with his strong dominant left foot. But it was interesting to see how he just trusted his instincts and he scored with his right foot. Coming to Ferran Torres, look, I understand he scored a hat trick today. Some of the finishes were insane, especially that volley kick. But I think it's established there's a big enough sample size to establish the fact that Ferran Torres isn't really a Champions League player or a big game player. He is great as a La Liga centre forward. He can start La Liga games. We can sub him on as a super sub, which is what his role has been for the past 2 years. He's great as a backup striker. At times, he can, in La Liga games, he can even play left wing and we can get away with it. I think there's enough of a sample size, there's enough games now where he hasn't shown up. Okay, so unfortunately, my microphone died and I apologize for the video, but I gotta keep going on. So, yeah, coming to Rashford, I was glad that Rashford got a start and Rafinha got a much needed rest. I really wanted Rashford to get on the scoring board because it's been a while. He's had a rough November. So I really wanted him to score or assist or get back to the form that we saw him in September and earlier in the season, where he was contributing almost every game. Yes, he had a lot more playing time because Rafinha was injured and Lewandowski was injured. But he's still a valuable contributor, and that chance where he was one on one with the goalkeeper and he had, I thought he'd put it away, but turns out he didn't. And unfortunately, I hope it doesn't do a lot to his confidence because he's still a valuable contributor. There's going to be a lot of chances for him in January and the rest of the season because people are going to keep getting injured. Coming to Lamine Yamal, I think a lot of people on Twitter and social media have been asking or floating the idea that Lamine Yamal could be tried as a number 10. Today we saw Hansi Flick trying that out, trying something new, and I think Lamine Yamal played really well as a in the attack. I think he was carrying the ball as usual. He got to see a lot more of the ball. The theory was is that he's not isolated on the wing, so you can't put so the opposition can't put two defenders on him and like siphon him away from the rest of the team and eliminate him from getting those passes. So that was the thinking that if we play him in the center of the field, he'll get a lot more access to the ball. You can't close him down as easily as on the wing. And that's what happened. He had a lot of dribbles. I thought he was fantastic in the ball carries. He created a chance for Rooney. He created a chance for Ferran Torres. He was doing everything, but he did seem a bit confused as to his defensive responsibilities. We did see him tracking back more than usual, but I could still see that he was feeling out his role. He wasn't really sure if he should drop down or if he should drop into the midfield and support Pedri. He's still feeling out the role. You could tell he was not entirely comfortable, but that's still fine. That's his first game. That's the first time he's being tried out as an attacking midfielder, and I think he played great. Coming to Pedri, I think Pedri had a great game, but by his standards, there was nothing that special this game, and I don't blame him for that because he played a brilliant game against Atletico Madrid, and he's probably pretty fatigued from that, considering the fact that he's just come back from an injury. So I think he was taking it lighter today. Coming to Eric Garcia today again put in a solid shift as a defensive midfielder. There's nothing spectacular. He didn't do anything wrong. He had a solid performance today. But the thing I want you guys to understand is that Eric Garcia is not the greatest on the ball. So when we play him in these big crucial matches like against Chelsea, where you have someone like Casado breathing down your throat and you cannot take more than 1 or 2 touches, that's the time when Eric Garcia got exposed in the past. I'm not saying he cannot work on his ball carrying abilities, and maybe as he gets reps in the midfield he'll improve. But as of right now, I still think in the tough matches and the high stakes matches, I don't think we can start him in the midfield. But yeah, that's to be seen. Coming to the defense, ooh, Jules Koundé. Jules Koundé had a very polarizing performance today, as he has the whole season, to be honest. I think he was good in attack. He was overlapping well. He was receiving those passes well. He put in a few good crosses. He was even attacking in the box. He had a chance to try and shoot. I think he was good in attack. But then when it comes to defense, especially in the second half, I thought he was very lackadaisical. He dropped his intensity a lot. Two of the goals that were scored today were basically because of Kunde. The first one because the left winger got around him and then put a cross in, which led to the goal. And the second one directly because he gave away the penalty. It was a stupid tackle. He shouldn't have done that. Below average performance from Jules Koundé on the defensive end. Coming to Kubarsi, I think Kubarsi also had a solid performance. Way better than some of his poor performances earlier in the season. But I think it was a solid game. He put in tackles. He was positioned correctly. For the most part, he was great. Coming to Gerard Martin. Gerard Martin, I think, guys, is solid as a left centre back. I think he could be the answer to all our prayers. We've been praying for a left centre back, and I think that's one of our prime targets in the transfer market as well. But I think he is, at least for the short term, he looks great as a left centre back. We can all tell that there was a clear drop in quality when he shifted to the left as a left back in the second half. He was playing great as a centre back. As a left back, he couldn't keep up with Anthony. He cannot keep up with fast fingers. He has to foul them. He got a yellow card. I really don't think we can play him as a left back. It's good that Joffre Torrens got some minutes. If he proves out to be a good enough option, then at least Balde has a backup. But I really don't think Gerard Martin can play left back. I did really like his performance as a centre back today though in the first half. Joan Garcia again, he didn't have much to do, but the stuff that he did when he had to step up was pretty good. Coming to the substitutes, Andres Christensen played as a left centre back in some portion of the second half. I think he was solid. He is a good player, just that he gets injured a lot. Hopefully, he gets healthy and he's more available, because he would be a valuable rotation, if not a starting left centre back. Who knows? Coming to De Jong. De Jong again has missed the last 2 games because of various reasons. He's back now. He got a few minutes. I think he needed that game time. He didn't really do much. And it was just some minutes for him on the pitch. Nothing much to talk about. Now I want to talk about Marc Bernal. To me, honestly, out of all the players today, I was the most impressed with Marc Bernal. Those 30 minutes that he played, he was all over the pitch. He was receiving the ball from the centre backs. He was breaking through lines. He could dribble. He was dribbling on the left flank, linking up with Gerard Martin, and then he dribbled on the right flank, linking up with Jules Koundé, linking up with Lamine Yamal. I think he was fantastic today. I think that was one of his best performances, at least this season. I know he's been out and he's coming back from injury, but I think this performance should give Flick enough trust in him to play him more and rotate him more, and maybe eventually even, who knows, if he's this good, he's actually good enough to start. I think Bernal was fantastic today. I loved watching him play the entire game. And so overall, I think it was a good performance by Barcelona. Yes, we allow them to creep back into the game, and that left kind of like a sour taste. But I think we have a lot of games coming up. I'm glad we got to rotate the squad today. Yeah, I'm not going to read in too much to the lack of defense. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of criticism about that, but people just criticize everything today. The players were trying to get as much of a rest on the field as possible put in as minimal effort. He should be happy with what he's seeing. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. Hopefully, we close the year strong, and 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. Until the next one, Visca Barca.